notice, and this is a typical copyright. We continue with mathematics syllabus for CSEC 2018 to 2027. Schedule of videos. I had hoped that by September 2024 to have all 33 videos published on number theory and computation, but I am a few videos behind schedule. However, by the end of October 2024, I should be back on schedule with those few videos from section 1 plus the 13 to 15 videos from section 2, consumer arithmetic. Then November 2024, sets. December 2024, measurements. January 2025, statistics. February 2025, algebra. March 2025, relations, functions, and graphs. April 2025, geometry and trigonometry. And finally, by May 2025, hopefully by mid-May, vectors and matrices. As I said before, I have divided section 1 in 33 videos, all of which will be made available on YouTube in their entirety. I'm also reminding us that this section forms the foundation on which the rest of the syllabus is based. How well you can handle this section will predict how well you will do with the rest of the syllabus. So please look at all 33 videos, make sure you understand them carefully, and then decide if you want to go on with the rest of the syllabus. So far, we have completed these 16 videos and published them, and also right up to 27. So we are at video 28 now. Objective 13, video 1. And after we finish this one, we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more to do to finish the work I had planned to do in September. So the objective we are looking at today is express one quantity as a fraction or a percentage of another. And then it goes on to say comparing two quantities using fractions and percentages. Because of that, I have divided this objective into two videos. The first one, we will deal with expressing a quantity as a fraction or percentage of another quantity. And then in the next video, we will compare two quantities using fractions and percentages. Now, to express one quantity as a fraction of another, you simply write the first quantity as the numerator and the second quantity as the denominator. And then you can reduce it if it can be reduced. So, example 1a, express 4 as a fraction of 8. So you write 4 as the numerator and 8 as the denominator, 4 over 8. So you have just expressed 4 as a fraction of 8. The standard practice is to reduce it to its simplest form, which would give us a half. So you have just expressed 4 as a fraction of 8 and reduced it to its simplest form. That is to say, 4 is 1/2 of 8. Let's take the B part of that question. Express 4 as a percentage of 8. Now remember, we just carried it to a fraction. And you all know how to carry a fraction to a percentage. So that is the fraction part. To convert a fraction to a percentage, you multiply the fraction by 100. So half multiply by 100%, and that gives you 50%. So if you had to express 4 as both a fraction and a percentage of 8, first we express it as a fraction, which is half, and then we convert a fraction to a percentage by multiplying by 100%. And we get 4 is 1/2 of 8, which is also 50% of 8. And that is the basic principle that we will use for the rest of this video, until we come down to the end, where we will look at an example where we will bypass this fraction and we will go straight to percentage. So now we could deal with both of these together, express 6 as a fraction and as a percentage of 10. Well, 6 as a fraction would be 6 over 10. We can reduce that to 3/5. That's the fraction part. We can then convert that fraction, either one, into a percentage by multiplying by 100%. So 3/5, or you could take 6/10 if you like, multiply by 100%, and you get 60%. So the answer is 3/5, that's the fraction part, and 60%. If you find this video useful and interesting, please like and share. Like and share. And you may also consider subscribing to this channel. It doesn't cost you anything, and it means a lot to me. So let's continue with example 3. A student got 20 marks out of a maximum of 25 marks in an exam. What fraction and percentage is this? So 20 out of 25, that's a fraction. We can reduce that to 4/5. That is a fraction. And then we can carry that fraction to a percentage. We could either use the 20 over 25 or the 4/5, doesn't really matter. Right now, I am using the 4/5 multiplied by 100%, and that works out to be 80%. Not bad. So the answer is 4/5 as a fraction and 80% as a percentage. Example 4. A woman accidentally dropped her shopping bag and smashed 3 out of the 12 eggs she bought. What fraction and percentage of eggs were undamaged? Now, read the question carefully. Now we are not asking about the fraction and percentage of the eggs that were damaged. We were asking about the good eggs. So if 3 were broken, that means 9 were still good. So it will be 9 out of 12, which can be reduced to 3/4. That is the fraction part. And now to convert the fraction into a percentage, we multiply by 100%. 3/4 multiplied by 100%. By now you should know that that would give you 75%. Answer is 3/4 and 75%. Example 5. A shopkeeper bought an item for $30 and sold it for $36. Express his profit as a fraction and a percentage in relation to the cost price. So how much profit did he make? Bought for 30 and sold for 36, so he made $6 on the $30 that he spent. So that will be 6 out of 30. And we can reduce that and get 1/5. That is the fraction part. Percentage part, we will multiply that fraction by 100%. 1/5 multiplied by 100%, and we get 20% profit. So 1/5 and 20%. Question 6. In a class of 40 students, 28 students were present for roll call at 8:30 a.m. What fraction and percentage of the class were absent at this time? Well, if 28 were present out of 40, that means 12 were not there as yet. So that will be 12 out of 40. We can reduce that and we get 3/10. That is the fraction part. Percentage part, we will convert that fraction to a percent by multiplying by 100. And so we get 30%. So our answer is 3/10 and 30%. Question 7. The maximum seating capacity of a bus is 45 passengers. Now, all the seats were occupied, and there were also 15 standing passengers. What fraction and percentage of the passengers were standing, not seated, standing? So it means that this bus has 60 passengers in it, and out of the 60, 15 were standing. So that will be 15 out of 60. 15 out of 60, you reduce that and you get a quarter. That is the fraction part. To convert that fraction into a percent, you multiply by 100 and we get 25%. So the answer is a quarter of the passengers were standing, or that is also 25%. Question 8. In a plane crash, 35 of 350 passengers survived. What fraction and percentage of the passengers died? The question is not asking about the survivors, it's asking about those who died. So if 35 survived, we will subtract that 35 from 350 to find the amount of persons that died, which works out to be 315, and it is out of 350 total passengers, and that reduces to 9/10. So 9/10 of the passengers died. That's a fraction. We can express that as a percentage by multiplying by 100, and we get 90%. 9/10 of the passengers died, which is 90%. Question 9. A farmer expected to reap 85 bushels. Doesn't matter if you don't know what a bushel is, of corn per acre, and it doesn't matter if you don't know what an acre is either, but got 70 instead. Calculate his fraction and percentage loss in yield. So he expected to get 85 bushels, whatever that is, but instead he got 70. So he actually lost 15 out of the expected 85, not out of the 70. So 15 out of the expected 85, he fell short, and that gives us 3/17 as a fraction. Now to convert a fraction into a percentage, multiply by 100. We have said that 9 times now. So 3/17 multiplied by 100, you cannot easily multiply that because this 17 is a prime number. So you end up with 300 over 17. You work that out to the best you can, and the nearest whole number, you get 18% to the nearest whole number. So 317 lost 18%. Now, and we can go on like this with thousands of other similar questions. But I think by now you understand this very well. Yes, so this will suffice. Now let's revisit this example 3. What we did was we first of all express this 20 marks as a fraction of that 25 marks, and we get 4/5. And then we took the fraction, multiplied by 100 to carry it the percentage. You can get the percentage without going through this fraction stage. So you could have calculated the percentage without going through the fraction stage, if you like. And it's as simple as this. Multiply the quantity under consideration by 100%, always, and then divide by the total quantity. So let's apply that in this case. So we multiply 20 by 100. By 100, this 100 doesn't change. And then you divide by the total amount, which is 25. And you get the same 80%. It's up to you if you would work through the fraction stage and then carry that to percentage, or if you would go directly to the percentage stage, bypassing the fraction stage. Now for our quiz. We have a grid here with 10 potential questions. This first column here, you will be given 2 quantities, and you have to express the first quantity as a fraction and then as a percentage of the second quantity. So in this column here, we'll put the fraction. We will not reduce it. We'll just put the fraction as is. Later on, you can reduce it if you like. And over here, we'll put the percent. We'll put both ways that it can be done. So question 1. Express 5 kilograms as a percentage of 15 kilograms. By now you have the answer, 5 over 15. As a percent, you also have the answer. Well, at least the first answer. Just 5 over 15 multiplied by 100. That is going through the fraction stage. But if you don't go through the fraction stage, you will multiply the 5 by 100 and divide by 15. Multiply the 5 by 100 and divide by the 15. All right? So now we could do that a little faster. Question 2, $15. That's the first quantity. And $20. How? Express $15 as a fraction of $20. Okay? So it's 15 over 20. As a percentage, you multiply that fraction by 100, or you multiply this first number by 100 and then divide by this total. Next one, question 3. 20 meters as a fraction and percentage of 25 meters. So as a fraction, 20 out of 25. 20 over 25. As a percent, you just multiply that by 100, which is this first part here. Or, if you don't want to go through the fraction stage, multiply this first number here by 100 and then divide by the total. Question 4, 35 millimeters and 60 millimeters. Express 35 millimeters as a fraction of 60 millimeters. That's 35 out of 60. You just write 35 out of 60. 35 divided by 60. As a percentage, you just multiply that by 100. That's the going through the fraction stage. So going through the fraction stage, that's what you do. But if you don't want to go through the fraction stage, you multiply this first number by 100 and then divide by 60. 35 multiplied by 100 divided by 60. Question 5. Express 6 years as a fraction and percent of 40 years. 6 years, 40 years. So 6 out of 40, 6 over 40. As a percent, you just multiply that by 100 if you go through the fraction stage, and if not, you multiply this first number by 100 and divide by the total, or the last second number. Question 6. Express 5.8 kilograms as a fraction and percent of 15 kilograms. As a fraction, to be 5.8 out of 15. As a percent, you multiply that fraction by 100, which is that part there, or 5.8 multiplied by 100 divided by 15. Question 7. Express 2 meters as a fraction and percent of 7 meters. So 2 out of 7. 2 out of 7. Then 2 out of 7 divide, then 2 over 7 multiplied by 100. That's one way to get the percent. The other way is multiply the 2 by 100 first and then divide by 7. Question 8. 3a out of 12a. Now, you may not know what a represents, and as I said, it doesn't really matter as long as the units are the same. A actually is amps for current. So express 3 amps as a fraction and a percentage of 12 amps. So 3 out of 12, that's a fraction. You can reduce that later. And then you multiply that by 100 to get the percentage, or you multiply the 3 by 100 first and then divide by 12. Question 9. 8 watts and 60 watts. Express 8 watts as a fraction and percentage of 60 watts. So it's 8 out of 60. As a percentage, you multiply that fraction by 100, or you multiply the 8 by 100 first and then divide by 60. Last one. 12 liters, express 12 liters as a fraction and a percentage of 10 liters. Now, right now, you're wondering, wait, all along the line, the first numbers were smaller than the total numbers you were getting. Now, in this case, this number here is larger. Well, you follow the procedure that you learned, and that will be 12 out of 10. Yes, you will get an improper fraction, but that's not the issue. You are expressing the first quantity as a fraction and percentage of the second one. So you follow the same system, the same procedure you were using all along the line, and that will be 12 over 10 multiplied by 100. That's one way. You will get more than 100%. And in this case, 12 multiplied by 100 divide by 10, you will still get more than 100. So we just completed that. Express one quantity as a fraction or percentage of another. That will be the next video. So as I said, we just completed this video. So we just completed this video. Objective 13, section 1, video 1. Express one quantity as a fraction or percentage of another. And I think you would have found this one of the easiest things to do. So that brings us to the end of video 1 of this objective 13 in section 1.